Welcome everyone to the Tactical Tavern. I'm your host Tomas Alas, and in this video we are checking out the SOG Trident AT. You'll notice I have two of these here, and that's because I like them so much I got another one. So I decided to do this review, share my thoughts and opinions on this blade, give you my pros, give you my cons to help you decide if this is right for you. Before we get started on this review, a big thank you for clicking on the video, and if you love all things gadgets, gear, and everyday carry, make sure to drop a like, share it with a friend, and subscribe so you won't miss future videos helping you upgrade your gear. With that being said, let's cut into it. I gotta be honest with you all, for the longest time, I was kind of on the fence about SOG. I've heard some good things, I've heard some weird things, and I was like, are they even worth it anymore? So I decided to try out the SOG Trident AT. And this right here is a pretty big blade. If you guys have been following the channel, you know I love big blades, and this certainly falls into that category. What I was really looking for was a well-rounded, versatile knife that had a great narrative to it, and this certainly fit the bill. And what I mean by narrative is that this is an emergency response tool and great for first responders. This blade sports an overall length of 9.03 inches and a blade length of 3.7 inches. The blade material is comprised of D2 that is cryogenically heat treated, and D2 is a pretty tough tool steel, but the cryogenic heat treat that they do on this takes it to a whole other level. And that's coming from someone who sharpens knives professionally. This steel really surprised me. The new SOG Trident comes in a couple of different versions. They have the plain edge, some serrations, they have that tanto grind, and they also have the clip point buoy shape. Pretty soon after I got the tanto and felt it in my hand, I immediately ordered the clip point buoy because it is so dang beautiful. The tanto has that blue and black colorway going on, and the buoy shape has the red and black, and I just love the contrast between the two. On the bright side, my poor financial decisions can be used for your benefit, so you can decide which one looks best for you, or just get both like I did. Getting this blade into action is primarily done via the thumb studs that are dual-sided with a decent texture. I also like that they lock into place into the divots on here, increasing the structural integrity. And this does lock into place with SOG's version of the crossbar lock. This blade may also surprise some people because it is spring assisted. Now, normally when you think of spring assisted, you think of Kershaw or you think of those like tack force knives, but let me tell you, this thing is spring assisted. It definitely jolts your hand and comes out readily accessible, extremely fast, and very solid. I like that both sides of the crossbar lock have that reinforced jimping and have a very tactile feel. And talking about traction, that leads us down to the polymer handle, which has an incredible and tacky feel to it. In the best way possible, this thing sticks and it feels really great in the hand, almost like a stippled Glock or stippled polymer frame. I like almost everything about the handle design. Some things I do enjoy is that it has that deep front guard preventing your hands from sliding forward, and it also has a ton of grooves to help your hands from sliding back off of them. Surprisingly, this is very comfortable in a ton of grips, which is something I was worried about, especially having this little shark fin on the back of the handle. This little piece on top comes in really handy if you're worried about your blade deploying inadvertently in your pants. You can lock it down and have it prevent it from firing off, or it's great if you're working around other people that you don't want to have quick access to your blade. I also like it because it gives you another thing to fidget with. As we flow down the rest of the handle, it leads us to the steel component on the back end, which does have some jimping to it, and I guess is like an extended pommel. I wouldn't even say it's a glass breaker because on the top side of this, it actually has a built-in carbide glass breaker, and that's why it makes a great rescue blade. And I'm also really happy to see that it's on the top part of this, not the back, because I hate when it's on the back and pokes into your thumb if you ever want to go reverse grip. I don't have too many problems with this being here. It definitely helps throttle your blade, so if it's in the reverse grip, it certainly helps you hook, trap, and allow you to transition and gives you just that added piece of, you know what I'm saying. I really enjoy that the pocket clip is deep carry, but be conscious of what pants you're carrying this in, because those Wrangler or really soft and breathable pants, the grippiness of that polymer certainly kind of tractions it. It makes it a little bit sticky to get in and out. Jeans and other heavy duty materials, no problem whatsoever. The handle also has a cutout that allows you to use this as a rope cutter or a seatbelt cutter. I basically classify it as a safety cutter, so you don't have to have this big old tanto blade hanging around someone's neck while you're trying to cut their seatbelt off. You definitely can just quickly swipe it and not worry about slicing anything you don't want to hit. Now that we got most of the specs out of the way, this brings us to a couple of things that you should take into consideration. For me, I do really like that it has that feature of the safety cutter. However, I'm not the biggest fan of the way that it's integrated into the handle. That being said, the way that the pocket clip flows down to it, a couple of times I've gone to put it back in my pocket and I feared that it could grab onto the edge of the pocket. Now, I don't feel that you're gonna slice through your pocket, but I definitely think it could get kind of close. So that being said, you just have to be a little mindful when putting this back into your pocket. Luckily, the pocket clip shape is really helpful at not having it stick or point awkwardly into the edge of the blade. The other thing that I've heard from other people to be aware of, but I've not experienced myself, is the thumb studs and the lock bar are polymer as well. Now, some people are not a fan of that. Totally understandable because it could mar up a little bit easier, but I've not had any issues with it. I've dropped this blade multiple times and I haven't experienced any real damage to any of the locking components or thumb studs. All that being said, I really love these blades. I think it's actually a really good price point considering the value you get, and these have a really nice hefty weight to them. It comes in at 5.15 ounces. If you're looking for a good rescue or safety tool, I can really recommend these. I love the carbide glass breaker. The safety cutter is pretty good, and it also has a versatile blade shape. Now this is that Tonto blade shape, but I feel like after a couple of sharpens, you're probably gonna end up looking a little bit more like that Bowie blade. But you could also go the other way. If you put it on a wicked edge or a work sharp, you could actually grind in a little bit of a more classic American Tonto. Totally up to your preference, but I like that it has that versatility. And right when I got these blades were razor sharp, and it also helps they have a really deep grind to them, which is pretty beautiful, and also helps in maintaining them. Personally, I am a big fan of these blades, and especially at the price point. At the time of this review, you can find these blades for around $99. Considering the amount of steel you get and versatility, as well as the capabilities that these have, I'm a big fan. But let me know, what are your thoughts in the comment section down below? Would you go with the Bowie blade, or are you a fan of that Tonto? If you did enjoy this video or you found any part of it valuable, please make sure to drop a like, share it with a friend you think might be interested, and make sure to turn on post notifications so you won't miss future videos helping you upgrade your gear. And also while you're there, make sure to follow us on Instagram at Tactical Tavern. With all that being said, my name is Tomas Alas. Thank you again for watching. I'm excited to see you in the next video. And remember, be prepared, be practical, stay tactical.